YCN Special is brought to you by Beltate's Building Product Specialist. No matter the projects, their experts will get you the materials you need. MJ Harrington and Company, jewelers and designers since 1948. Osborne's Marine, Hillside Trucking, and Stitch Witch Canvas. Ledyard National Bank, plan well, live well. Flash Photo, Flash Pack and Ship, also offering copy and graphic design services. And by New London Recreation. And by Sunapee Recreation.
Welcome. It's the 2017 Sunapee Independence Day Parade. We're your hosts, Lynn Solomon. Joining me is Scott Blewett.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Department of Recreation, you're the director.
Yes.
So you're a big part of everything that goes on in Sunapee.
It's a team effort, yes. Yeah. Especially with the parade, the fire department, the police department, the highway crew, yes.
Absolutely. Well, Sunapee is where it's at in the summer. How can you beat this beautiful harbor, gorgeous lake?
It's a gorgeous setting, gorgeous place. You know, people come from all directions to come to Sunapee Harbor to watch this and to spend the 4th of July.
Absolutely. Picture perfect day.
Beautiful day. The temperature is comfortable. The humidity is low. There's no bugs.
Perfect,
Beautiful day.
And the parade kicks off a whole day of celebration.
It does, and it actually started the night before. We did a watermelon race.
Okay.
And that was fun. It's fun to watch. It's fun to participate. And then the parade. The parade is an annual tradition in the harbor, and then it continues on with the fireworks in the evening.
Right. And you get a lot of community support for the fireworks. That is not an inexpensive production to put up.
Right. It's a very expensive production, and all the proceeds come from donations. So very generous, and we have wonderful, very generous businesses in the harbor. Two of them. One is Stacy Smoothies, and the other one is the Fenton family that own the MV Sunapee, the MV Kearsarge, and Fenton's Landing.
Right. And Stacy's Smoothies, what a great new pop-up shop in the harbor for 2 years now.
It is wonderful. I've been in there a number of times. My daughter works there.
Okay.
So I have a few reasons to go in, but the primary reason is the selection of what they offer. If you want to start the day, or any time of the day, wonderful smoothies. They also have wraps. I've had a steak wrap. I've had a chicken wrap. They have a lot of gluten-free. They have brownies. They have little chocolate-covered almonds. All of it's healthy stuff.
They do have mostly healthy fare there.
They do, and it's really good. Of course, they have Stacy's pita chips.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, so it's very refreshing. It's good stuff.
Absolutely good. Keep you fueled throughout the summer.
Yes. Tell
us a little bit about those wonderful harbor cruises that the Fentons offer.
Sure. The Fentons and the Sunapee cruises offer. They have this Mount Sunapee, which is a cruise boat, open air on top, and that's just fun to cruise around the harbor. And the captains are very colorful, and they'll highlight different houses and maybe who owns the houses or who own them. So they have a lot of information through the years. And then you have the MV Kearsarge, which if you want to go out for a dinner cruise, that's
nice.
A wonderful place. It's a buffet cruise, and you get a wonderful meal and a beautiful cruise of the lake. And then, of course, there's Fenton's Landing, which you can just go grab a meal if you're coming by boat or into the harbor.
Right.
They have wonderful breakfasts, great donuts, everything you would need for a day in the harbor.
And sundries, too, in there as well.
Yes.
They've got anything you might need.
Anything you need. If you're close and the local supermarket's close, Fenton has it.
Right, okay. And the Sunapee Historical Museum's right in the harbor as well.
Yes, and it is jam full packed of Sunapee history. I went in recently and they have this old display of, it's like you're walking into an old-time cabin with the creaky screen door and everything. And you walk in, and it's very authentic looking. So any piece of history, they have old motors, they have old signs. So it's worth to go into.
Great to bring the kids, show them what life used to be like.
Very fun. Exactly. What it used to be like, yes.
Before neon and electricity and all that.
Becky Rylander is the president of the Historical Society, and she's always gathering items. A couple years ago, I was able to give her a door panel where a family came up. They owned this cottage for decades, and every weekend they would come up for every year for 40 years. They would write what they did on the door, the date, the weather. It was like a living diary on this door. So I was able to donate that to the Historical Society, and now it's on display.
Terrific. Well, we're going to get a little piece from Becky at the end of this parade, so everyone will make sure they have to stay tuned for that.
Good.
Right. Everything good emanates from the harbor here in the summer, doesn't it?
It sure does, yes.
Great. Let's talk a little bit about the parade, because it's been going on for many years.
Yeah, the parade originally was part of the Legion Day,
Okay.
Organized by the local group of men, the Legion. And then a handful of years, the rec department took it over, again for insurance purposes. And then I was able to pass the baton off to the fire department. So kudos to the fire department for pulling it all together.
Super. And there's been some star sightings in some years. I've heard that occasionally Steve Tyler will show up and be in the parade.
He's been in the parade, yes. One year where I organized it, he was friends with a police officer in town, and he rode in the cruiser.
Okay.
And it was funny because people would see him, and you would think it would be the 20-year-old or the teens going crazy. And this was actually before American Idol.
Oh, right. Okay.
But the people going crazy were the women in their 40s and 50s.
Oh, yes.
So
we all turn back into a teenager again when we see Steve Tyler.
Funny sight to see. But again, that was before American Idol.
Okay.
So if we went through now, it would be a mixed crowd.
Much more recognizable now.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, next year is your 250th anniversary, so maybe he'll make an appearance for that.
Yeah, and that's a really big deal. 250th for any town is a good celebration.
Absolutely. Well, great. Well, good. Well, when we come back, we're going to get a glimpse at the parade. We've got some nice commentary from you, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Good.
Welcome back. I'm Lynn Solomon, your host today for the 2017 Sunapee Parade, and joining me is Scott Blewett.
Hello.
It's a great day in Sunapee. Beautiful, beautiful day. Perfect for a parade.
Yeah, the temperature's comfortable, the humidity's low. Perfect day for a parade.
Okay, and of course we have Sunapee's finest, one of their police officers leading off the parade. Who we have driving that car?
This is Officer Joshua Lavasser. He's a new recruit to the Sunapee Police Department. He started out as Harbor Patrol and kind of working his way up to leading off the parade.
Good for him. And what is the number of the police that you have in Sunapee? How many?
Oh, we probably have six full-timers and then a number of seasonal part-timers. With the influx of the population in Sunapee over the summer,
Right.
They certainly need all hands on deck. There's Harbor Patrol, and then there's people. They have a boat as well in the harbor, so they assist Marine Patrol. And it's a small town with a small department, but in the summertime it certainly grows.
Absolutely. What does the population go to? Double, triple in size?
Yeah, I believe it's about 3,000 in the normal wintertime season, probably all the way up to 10,000 in the summertime.
Super. And now the roller. This is always a lead off to the parade, this historic roller. Tell us a little bit about this. This has been in Sunapee for a long time.
Yeah, this is an original roller to Sunapee. Been around since the early 1900s. The purpose of this piece of equipment is to roll the snow, and then the horses would be able to get around the town and transport people and move supplies. So this piece of equipment was restored by Selectman Fred Gallup.
And that's the driver right there,
That's
isn't
the driver.
it? Okay, wow, that's great. So he restored it about 8 years ago, didn't he?
He did.
That's terrific. And now it rolls through the parade every year.
Leads the parade. He stores it at his house, and it's what a wonderful piece of equipment.
Followed by a couple neat gators, and those are Fred's mom and his sister. Is that right?
Yes, they use these equipment to get around their home area to do some gardening. They always follow Fred, as you'll see coming up. To get around the corner onto River Road, it takes Fred a few times to back and forth. So these ladies are there to assist him to make sure the gardeners don't get too close.
Well, those gators are something else. Little glimpse of the Sunapee Historical Society. We'll be hearing from them a little bit after the parade. And who's the crier there, the guy in the red hat?
That's Dean Stetson playing the role of Billy B. Van.
Okay, and Billy B. Van, old-time vaudeville actor, silent movie actor, is that right?
Yes, he moved to George's Mills, thinking that would be the place to get all these actors, and And he had a casino in Georges Mills Harbor. He built some houses up on Prospect Hill. And then eventually he moved to Newport, naming Newport the Sunshine Town.
All right, and there's a 3-point turn by the roller. I'm glad my daughter is not taking driver's ed on that, because that looks tough to drive. But he's going to get around. So, and I can't even imagine that being the snowplow of days gone by. Very, very thankful that we have our current snowplows. As the snow got deeper, that just must have been more interesting to maneuver even.
Oh, especially some of the hills that we have, especially going up into the harbor. That would be a tough. And as you can see, there's not a lot of protection. So you're packing snow, but I hope you dress warm.
Absolutely. Well, it's great that Fred put the time into restoring that. It's great for the kids to see. This is how they used to do it in the old days. No nice fancy DOT with the snowplows attached.
And look at the crowd go wild once it finally makes it onto the road. Lots of cheers.
Oh, that's great. Okay, good. So we're continuing with the Sunapee Gardeners. Here they come, and Sunapee Historical Society wrapping up. Sunapee Gardeners next in their purple shirts, and they are responsible for keeping all the beauty in Sunapee. They do so much work there.
They do. They maintain gardens at Dewey Beach, Georges Mills Beach, in front of the town hall. The biggest and most noticeable is in Sunapee Harbor, and they do a wonderful job. They're always there, refreshing, mulching, deadheading.
Yes.
Dedicated bunch.
Mm-hmm. And Sunapee has got a lot of landscape to cover. That harbor alone has got to be a ton of work, and then you add all the other places that they take care of. Project Sunapee, they're next, sporting their Beatlemania. Tell us a little bit about what they do.
Project Sunapee is an organization in town created by Donna Gazelle and Barbara Sullivan for the betterment of Sunapee. Some of their mission is to do those things outside of the town budget, whether it be programs or helping with facilities and programs. And they do various fundraisers to promote their cause, and the biggest one coming up is the Beatlemania.
YCN Special is brought to you by Beltate's Building Product Specialist. No matter the projects, their experts will get you the materials you need. MJ Harrington and Company, jewelers and designers since 1948. Osborne's Marine, Hillside Trucking, and Stitch Witch Canvas. Ledyard National Bank, plan well, live well. Flash Photo, Flash Pack and Ship, also offering copy and graphic design services. And by New London Recreation. And by Sunapee Recreation.
Welcome back. And now more coverage from the 2017 Sunapee Independence Day Parade. It's Sunapee's own Ozzy Osbourne next in the parade. So this is Richard Ozzy Osbourne in his antique fire truck. Scott, what does this do?
Well, as you can see from the front, that can certainly throw out some water. This is an old fire truck that was restored by Richard's father, Artie Osbourne, and it seems to make the parade every year. What a fun piece of apparatus.
Absolutely, always a kid's favorite. This is a gorgeous float right here.
That looked like it took some serious time to put together. I love the trailer in the back.
And all decked out in the red, white, and blue for the Independence holiday.
I love the little kids with their red, white, and blues on. Very, very festive.
That's fun. Very, very grateful for a perfect day. Not too hot, just perfect. There go the bubbles, too. Okay, next is Dance Arts Academy, fairly new business in town. They've got lessons for kids and adults located right on Route 11. Dance Arts Academy, owned by Ashley Rowley.
What a beautiful Land Cruiser. This is probably a 1970s Toyota Land Cruiser, fully restored, gorgeous.
Yes, that's beautiful. And I think the dog is waiting for his chance to take over the wheel. Antique truck, what's that?
This is Craig Foscaldo. Looks like a 1970s, early 70s Chevy pickup. The Foscaldos are always in. They always are more than willing to get dressed up into the theme. And this is the senior. This is the father. This is Ken Foscaldo. Looks like driving a a 60s Thunderbird.
That's a sweet ride. And Stacy's Smoothies, what a great addition to the harbor.
Yeah, they added to the harbor new last summer, and they certainly are a welcome addition to the harbor and all the activities. They're also a very big donator to the fireworks, very big supporter of the community.
That's great, and they're somewhat famous because Stacy's Smoothies is the originator of Stacy's Chips, which is a big favorite in our house. You can get those at any grocery nationwide. Stacy's Smoothies has got fresh smoothies, nice restaurant items, breakfast and lunch. Really, really healthy, good food to help fuel everybody over the summer.
Yep, and if you head down to Massachusetts, they have the original Stacy Smoothie in Needham, Mass.
Okay, good, and you can only get them in the summer, so get there soon. Here's another great-looking truck. This is by the Eastman family.
It is. These two pickup trucks. One is more of a 1-ton, and the other one is much larger than that. This is Noel Eastman Jr., and the second one is Noel Eastman Sr.
Okay, and the matching color. That's the Eastman color, isn't it? You see even their business trucks are all that color as well. And they're in the land business, bark mulch, sand, things like that, right?
Yeah, you need soil, you need bark mulch. These ones are the one to call.
Okay. And then followed by that, we have got our fire department display here, starting off with Sunapee. That's one of the Sunapee trucks, am I right?
Yes, that was Paula Ruggles.
Okay.
Chief Ruggles' wife.
And this one is from Sutton. This is one of the Sutton little trucks, isn't it?
Yes. Who's the driver of that? Tyler?
Taylor Cochran.
Taylor Cochran.
Yep, nice one of the young volunteer fire departments. And all these fire departments are fueled by volunteers. We are so grateful to them. More from Sutton right there. We are very lucky to have all these dedicated people keeping us safe each and every day. And it looks like the fire department really got some of the nice neighboring towns to come in too.
I really admire the brotherhood of the fire department with their mutual aid. You know, they really support each other. Every town has a little parade, so they all come and show off their equipment.
So that was Bradford, followed by Sunapee. I love the looks of this truck.
Yeah, this is Matt Polari driving this big truck, engine 2. All happy. That's Chris Melcher on the passenger side.
And then this is a tanker, more from Sunapee Fire.
Yeah, beautiful equipment.
And they got it all shined up for the parade, which is super. Glad it's not raining on them. So, tanker 4, followed by, I think this is going to be one of the
Goshen Forestry trucks.
Great. Many small trucks. And then this, I think, is one of our extra trucks coming up.
Wow, very nice truck.
That's a big one. That's a ladder. This is a Sunapee truck again, right?
This is Daryl Sensabaugh driving this truck. This is a new ladder truck, fairly new, within the last 5 years or so. Beautiful. I love the little spinny thing in the front. Always a crowd pleaser.
Oh, this has got a great story. Talk to us about this amphibious vehicle.
Yeah, this is Brad Palmer driving this vehicle, and this amphibious vehicle was donated by the famous rock and roll front singer Steven Tyler. He no longer had a use for it at his property, so he donated to the fire department so they can get out to remote locations that wheeled vehicles cannot go.
That's great. So that can be used in snow, muddy roads, things like that, oftentimes for rescue.
Yeah. So what Brad Palmer is advertising is for the Flare Night. The fire department, Fire Association has revitalized the Flare Night. It was a Lions Club fundraiser. Now it's the Fire Association. So the first, the night of the fireworks is always Flare Night, and they've actually switched to more of a environmentally friendly flares.
Right.
So they're more of a glow stick than they are flares, because we want to make sure the water quality stays good where it is.
Absolutely. And that wraps up the 2017 Sunapee Independence Day Parade. I'm your host, Lynn Solomon. Scott Blewett, thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Good parade as always. Beautiful day.
What a fun parade. And if you hadn't guessed, the parade theme was the 1960s.
Oh, yes.
To go along with the Beatlemania event Project Sunapee's doing. And people really got into it. So that
yeah,
was fun.
It's great. Great town, great parade. Thanks so much for helping me host today. And when we come back, we'll get a little snippet from the Sunapee Historical Society, so stay tuned. Welcome back to our coverage of the 2017 Sunapee Independence Day Parade. And now we'll hear from Becky Rylander. She's president of the Sunapee Historical Society. Parades have always been a big part of the Sunapee history. We're going to hear a little bit more now.
Sunapee has loved parades for decades. They've been big on Labor Day and 4th of July and any excuse for a celebration. These days it's mostly the 4th of July, but next year we'll have a parade when we celebrate our sesquicentennial. That's 250 years of Sunapee history. This museum has all things Sunapee related. We have items from the steamboat era, from the industries that were located along the Sugar River at the same time that the tourist industry was burgeoning. And we have agricultural equipment of yesteryear, we have ice cutting equipment, we have things from the regatta that brought in great crowds every summer for many years. We've got pictures of the water ski school that was so popular for years, and lots of things like that. The museum has been open as a museum since 1980. Before that, originally it was a livery, the Flanders livery originally, and then the Osborne Marine and Garage for years, before it was given to the Historical Society to use as a museum. This is Billy B. Van, who was a vaudevillian who settled in George's Mills and made silent movies there. And then eventually he moved over to Newport. So on the 12th of July, we are going to celebrate his life in a fundraiser for the Historical Society up under the tent at Dexter's. And we're going to show a movie that was made in George's Mills in 1919 that none of us has seen before. This Billy will be there.
And we ask the question, people of Sunapee, where are your husbands?
Which is the title of the film, and it's a very dynamic look at our culture, surprisingly enough. We encourage you to come and visit and see this first run.
Indeed, and tickets are available here at the museum or by mail, or you can call me up and send a check in. The proceeds will benefit our fund for the archives at the old Abbott Library. We're raising funds to buy the old library, both to preserve the building and to do a better job of preserving some of the items we have here in the unheated museum that need a better atmosphere. And simultaneously, they will then be available year-round for people to see and do research in. At the end of the month, I think on the 27th, whatever that Thursday is, we'll have a program about scuba diving in Lake Sunapee and the things that people have found on the bottom of the lake. The Laportes will be here and several other people who have great experience in diving. And then in August, we'll have Barbara Chalmers talking about the history of pleasure boating from the 1890s on, both sailing and motorboating. We have a website at sunapeehistoricalsociety.org. There's information there, or they can call the museum and we'll fill them in, or visit the museum. We are open Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from now to Labor Day from 1 to 4, and Wednesday evenings from 6:30 to 8:30 during the band concerts here in Sunapee.
Thanks, Becky. Wow, that is an amazing historical society.
It's a great place to stop in and visit.
All right, and it's open lots over the summer, so now's the time to get in there.
Yes, and it's very exciting that they're trying to fundraise to buy the old Abbott to store even more of Sunapee's history.
Yeah, get a little temperature control in there for some of the important documents, etc. Yeah, super. Well, good. Well, thank you for joining us from the 2017 Sunapee Independence Day Parade. Stay tuned next year, 250th anniversary of Sunapee. That should be a big one.
That's a big deal.
Okay, and we're your hosts, Lynn Solomon and Scott Blewett.
BCN Special is brought to you by Beltate's Building Product Specialist. No matter the projects, their experts will get you the materials you need. MJ Harrington and Company, jewelers and designers since 1948. Osborne's Marine, Hillside Trucking, and Stitch Witch Canvas. Ledyard National Bank, plan well, live well. Flash Photo, Flash Pack and Ship, also offering copy and graphic design services. And by New London Recreation. And by Sunapee Recreation.